Hi. Sorry for the interruption. Just want to ask very quickly, if you don't mind, please hit subscribe. It really helps us out. It doesn't cost you anything, and we'd appreciate it very much. Now, back to the rabbi. Hello there, Rabbi. I see you have out your tarot cards, your crystal ball, your incense. Seems like you're preparing to predict the future.
And I just would like to add that for anyone who would like me to do a card reading or tell the future, I use Scrabblemancy in order to predict someone's future. You take some Scrabble tiles and shake them up and throw them down, and then I read the way they appear on the table. So I do Scrabblemancy. That's my forte.
So, what topics, what have you seen glazing into your Scrabble tiles as coming up in the next 18 months? Let's pick a nice number like that for our predictions.
First on my list, since Israel has already secured an air corridor into Iran, and Israel has now received the bunker buster bombs from the United States, the biggest and best in the known universe. And Israel is going to go in and destroy the nuclear reactor, the research facility, the centrifuges. So we will no longer have to worry about Iran getting any nuclear weapons because it's in the works. And I don't think it's going to take 18 months for that one. I'm going to predict we're going to see that in 3 to 6 months. Israel will destroy the Iranian research facility.
And will Donald Trump and the United States government go tisk tisk Israel? You shouldn't have done that without permission, or will they be secretly applauding?
Not secretly applauding, they're going to be applauding.
Okay, well, I will give that prediction a thumbs up because I personally agree that you're absolutely right there. The question is, what will the rest of the Middle East do? But let's move on to the next prediction. And this one's a little closer to everybody's hearts. What do you think is going to happen in the next 18 months with the price of eggs? Are
Oh,
those chickens going to start becoming cheaper mass producers?
we're going to a global economy. And what's going to happen is the free marketplace. The price of eggs is going to drop because we're going to discover that there's a plethora, there's a bumper crop, an overabundance of eggs in every country in the known universe, and they're going to come selling them to the United States. And with competition, the price will drop below $4 a dozen.
Huevos rancheros. I like that. Okay. I agree on the price drop, but I'm not sure that it's going to come from international imports. So I'm going to give that one a thumbs up and a thumbs down. We'll caveat it that way. Okay. Um, on the related topic, tariffs. Do you think that the uh, tariffs that the current administration is trying to impose, because they aren't having a lot of luck getting them to stick, they keep turning them on and turning them off again. It's like some kid with a light switch driving everybody crazy by flicking it back and forth as fast as they can. Do you think in 18 months we are going to still have the high tariffs on the northern and southern and European countries that we are at least talking about right now?
Stay seated, keep your seatbelt on, keep your hands inside the car, because tariffs have become a poker game. And just like you keep betting and changing with each hand and upping and bluffing, tariffs are being used as a game of poker. And so there's no way of up, down, there's no answer because it is poker.
No thumbs up or down because you're saying we don't know and I don't know either. So we'll go with that. Something a little bit more related to tariffs and international local neighbors. Um, will Canada become the 51st state?
No, because we wouldn't know what to do with Quebec. We'd have to make Quebec its own country and the rest a state. But what we can do is we're just going to move the borders. We're going to tell Canada that we don't agree with any of the treaties the United States ever signed establishing the borders with Canada. We're just going to move the borders further and further north, except not involving Quebec at all. So eventually, it won't have to become a state because the border will be approaching the Arctic Circle.
Well, okay, I'm going to disagree with that one because I have a feeling the Canadians, just the hockey players alone, will be standing there at the border saying, no, 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 no. You're on our ice now. You're not going any further. How about Greenland? Do you think we're going to get Greenland as a territory of the United States?
No question, it's going to become red, white, and blue land, and we're going to make it a territory just like Puerto Rico. And unlike Puerto Rico, we're actually going to put money and troops and development into it because we have an economic, financial interest in where it's located.
I will respectfully agree with you. The current administration has a few cards to play to force their hands, even though the Danish government doesn't want it and the Greenland population doesn't want it. I still think that there's enough leverage to make it happen. So we're going to say Greenland becomes a territory, red, white, and blue land becomes a territory with giant MAGA letters across the island. But let's see, what's next? The Panama Canal.
We've already thrown the Chinese out. So we've already started to reclaim the canal. And in short order, we're just going to declare it ours again. We never should have given it back to them. They don't know how to run the canal. And it's in our best interest to allow free transit for the American military and give a discount to American ships. So that'll be an incentive for companies to flag their ships here in the United States and not to some obscure foreign country. So it's a win-win for everyone. Yes, the Panama Canal will come back where it belongs.
Well, I will respectfully disagree with that one because I think, as you pointed out just now, that it's more about economics than actual territorial control. So, who gets the money? Panama has too much invested in controlling the canal. Whereas if they can make the right deal, and who but our president appreciates a deal more? So, from there we go to space, the final frontier, as we say. What's going to happen with the moon landing? Are we going to still have a United States base on the moon?
Definitely. We don't believe in international treaties. We don't believe in neutrality. It's what's good for us, and we're Americans. And so we are going to establish an American base on the moon. Initially, it may only be one or two individuals, but that's all it takes to start. We already planted the flag there, so the moon belongs to us.
Well, I think there are some international laws that the United States is signature to, but as I say it, I realize, well, when has the government ever paid attention to anything they ever signed? So, yes, there is a possibility that that will not happen. But I think where the government is going to find out, and like all governments are going to find out, is that Elon Musk and all the other multi-billionaire corporations are going to put their bases up there first and say, no, no, that's okay. This is ours. This is private territory. And then there'll be lawyers involved as to whether or not eminent domain can be invoked. So I'm going to say yes and no, because I think there will be a base on the moon that will be manned, and it will be probably manned by people from the United States, but it will not be a United States facility. It will be the furthest Amazon distribution center you could find. So that leaves, is that all of our topics? Let's see, was there any else that we left? Oh, yes, the biggest one, the furthest one away, Mars. Mars. All right. You think we're going to have a base on the moon in the next 18 months? There's no way we could get somebody to Mars in the next 18 months, even if they left. Well, if they left tomorrow, they'd get there right about in 18 months. But Is the drive to get a man on Mars going to continue? 18 months from now, are they still going to be working on it? What do you think?
What's going to happen is we're going to ask for volunteers for suicide mission, one-way trip. And there'll be a lot of people that will sign up for the one-way trip to Mars to establish a colony there. That's going to be the first step. And they're going to go knowing they may be one, two, three, as many people as we send, but they're not going to ever come back to Earth. And they're going to have a lottery because so many people are going to volunteer for a suicide mission to Mars that we're going to have to run a lottery to decide who is actually going to establish a human base on the planet Mars.
It will be a heck of a TV show, the competition. Although they have to come up with another name besides Survivor. Well, thank you as always, Rabbi. This is we covered a lot of topics today as opposed to only one, but I think these are all issues that are going to start to come. The cards will flip true or false in the coming months, and we'll keep track of how successful your predictions were.
And I'm asking our listeners and viewers, write down these predictions, keep track of them, and you'll discover Scrabblemancy, tarot cards, and a crystal ball really do work when all my predictions come true.